What's going on, my boxing brothers and sisters? Again, Major Key up in the building. My brother Troy Grizzy. What's going on, Troy?
Bless up and big up to one and all. We're back again, man. Live
Hell
and in
yeah.
living color and ready to go. How's everyone doing?
I'm doing great, brother. And of course, we got a special guest tonight. You know what I mean? Setting up right now. Got a lot to talk about. It's been a while since we've had him on. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. Thank you for coming on, man. And I hear I saw your live earlier with Ellie, man. So you out there in a remote location right now, and you've been training and all of that.
No, I didn't do no live with Ellie.
Oh no! Oh, he did one of those playbacks. He did one of those. Man,
Yeah,
Ellie's
it was
always doing
probably a
that.
playback. Yeah, it was probably a
Ah, man,
playback,
I hate
bro.
when Ellie does that, man. I hate when Ellie does that. But
Nah,
anyway,
but
yeah,
we've been good, bro. We just been training right here. I don't know if I'm sure you guys got the news that I'm fighting Caleb Plant, and I'm
yes,
just very
Yes, sir.
excited, man. I'm very excited, very motivated. This is gonna be a big, step up for me. Not in competition, but just an event, pay per
right,
view,
right.
and I'm just excited, bro. And this is a fight I've been wanting for a long, long time, and it's on the biggest stage possible right now, pay per view. So I'm just excited to go.
That's what's up. Yeah, no, that's actually what I wanted to start off with because we've been hearing about it. And Samson, shout out to Samson, man. He was out there fighting for you, and then he had to mention because they asked him in order for you to be the mandatory for Canelo, which we'll talk about later. You know what I mean, or whoever wins this fight is the mandatory for Canelo. So he was out there fighting, and they asked him, when is that fight set up? He said, sometime during March. So you guys so the details are pretty much worked out. Like everything is good to
Oh
go.
yeah,
Just
the contract is signed. We're just looking for the location and the date. That's the only
that's
thing
it.
holding it back right now. This fight came up pretty fast. I had been calling for the fight for a long, long time,
Mhm.
and then we are just waiting until after Caleb Plant fought, and he looked impressive. He's feeling
Right.
himself. We asked him if they wanted to fight. Al Heyman said that he can make the fight happen. So this is where we're at right now. And I feel like it couldn't happen at any better time. I feel like this is the best time to make this fight happen, especially since the fans were waiting for a big fight against Earl Spence and Crawford, and then they
Right.
were waiting for a big fight with Ryan Garcia and Tank, and it doesn't look like those fights are gonna happen. So now I get to take all the spotlight, man. So like I said, the timing is
Oh
perfect
yeah.
on this fight.
Hell yeah, man! And I know that last time you were here, you were so hyped up about like you just wanted to get at David at Plant at Caleb Plant. So I'm satisfied for you. I'm happy for you. I know you've been wanting that, you know what I mean, and that sets you up obviously for what happens after that. So I'm very excited for you, man. So I mean, before I jump, out the window with all the questions, Troy, what's going on, man?
There, all is well. David, bless up and big up yourself, man. Good to see you again.
Yeah,
Welcome
nice to
home.
see you too, bro. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, welcome home. From the first time you came here, I said this is your home. So I don't know. If you want to start it off, Major, or you want me to start it off, because
Yeah, I mean, let's
yeah.
let's go with the flow, man. Because so there's a
Hmm.
couple of interesting things. There's a couple of interesting things I want to talk about. So the so it's already signed. It's going to happen sometime in March. And so obviously we've been hearing about a little bit of background noise about the whole situation. Um, I don't think anyone was like completely convinced yet. Like they were like already signed because we heard it from David, we heard it from Plant. So it must be because otherwise they're gonna sound like they was capping. So everybody's taking it serious. We were just kind of like waiting on a date. So I appreciate you confirming that. So why the hell is David Morrell talking about you after fights, calling you names now because he knows you got a fight signed? You know what I mean? Like I thought his
Well, I
managers in
mean,
his hand said that he wasn't ready for you. What's going on with him?
to be honest, bro, that's the fight I thought I was gonna get right after David Lemieux. We had called him out. He said he could beat me, whatever, and we said, "Fuck it, let's make it happen for November, December." And then that's when Ronnie Shields started coming out, where he said that he's not ready, that he still needs a couple fights, that he's not gonna jump the gun. I mean, I understand that's his trainer; he's gonna do what he feels better
Mhm.
for him. But for me, I'm not gonna call somebody out, especially if I'm not ready, especially if my trainer's not saying I'm ready, because when I call you out, that means that let's get, we're not
Right,
trying to make the fight happen.
right,
That's what we try to do. We try to make the fight happen with David Morrell, and one thing ended up to another, and then ended up, they said that they had a mandatory, and then they fought the guy. It was a great fight. I take nothing away from David Morrell. He's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. But I just this type of level of fighting, it doesn't scare me. If anything, it entices me. It excites me. You know what I mean? So I'm ready to take these risks. You know, I don't know if these other guys are just talking shit because they want to seem cool for social media, but, you know, I'm ready. You know, this is my job.
Yeah.
I'm 100% ready. I'm ready to face whoever, whenever. So it don't matter to me, you know, that could definitely be a big fight made in the future. You know, whenever he's ready, you know, I'm going to be right here ready for him.
Yeah, it sounded like they were trying to set it up because one of the things that Brian Custer said when he was talking about the fight afterwards, he misspoke and said, "Oh, now David Morrell has a piece of the super middleweight world title." There's no pieces. You either have it or you don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so they try to like set it up like, you know, like, okay, he's got a piece of it. So, yeah, man. With that being said, though, I mean, you know, I'm going to let Troy jump in because I got some other questions about the future and all that. Go ahead, Troy.
All right. Good to see you again, family. Good to see you again, man. You always have that look in your eye like it's ready, set, go with you, man.
Yeah.
Fight
That's
is
how it has
fight.
to be. That's how it has to be. That's how it has to be.
Yeah, I know. I see it. But look, I want to ask you, who actually, well, as far as it goes with you and Plant, you know, who actually reached out to who to get the fight made, or was it something else mandatory? You know, who reached out to who?
Oh, well, I mean, I had been talking shit for a while. You know, I mean, this is a fight that I've been wanted. And so when we got the fight with Uskateki, you know, and then that's when he started coming up with shit like, oh yeah, you know, he only wants to fight me every time we have a fight signed, this and that. But bro, like, to be honest, I could have fought him on the day he fought Anthony Durrell. You know what I mean? I was ready for whatever. So, you know, I kept talking shit. I kept putting the pressure on him, and that's when Al Heyman called me. He's like, you know what? I want to ask you personally. He's like, do you want to make this fight happen, or you want to fight Uskateki first? You know, if I was really just trying to coast it and, you know, cherry pick, I would have said Uskateki. You know, give me Uskateki first, and then we'll do Caleb Plant. But I said, you know what? I feel like the best fight for me and for the fans right now, let's just jump into Caleb Plant. You know, I know I have to wait more. I'm going to have to wait longer, you know what I mean, for the fight. But it doesn't matter. You know, this is just a fight I want. And I feel like this is a fight that makes sense for the whole boxing industry. You know what I mean? So, I know. And then it was really funny that when he put out his little fucking post, that I was during, we're like, you know, trying to bang out the contract, this and that. And I was in the middle of training, and then I look at a post on Instagram, and he's posting, oh, yeah, I went and made the biggest fight happen, this and that. So, I mean, I feel like he's the one that he always tries to, you know, make it seem like he's the biggest and the baddest doing this, you know, doing this and that. But, you know, it is what it is. The fight's already signed, and we're already ready to go. You know what I mean? So ain't no more talking. You know, he knows what it is.
And that is what we as fans want to hear. We don't want to hear, well, you know, they're agreeing to this and that. What you just said is what all the fans wanted to hear. You said the fight is what? It's signed and ready to go, right?
Yeah, signed and ready to go. And then, you know, he was putting a lot of conditions too. He wanted the ring bigger. He wanted to walk out second. He wanted to do this and that. I said, fine, bro. Like, I don't care. I'm not going to fight anything. Whatever you want, I'm going to give it to you. You know what I mean? That's how we made the fight happen.
Hold on, talk a little bit more about that because I did hear about that. I think your father had some complaints about like 5 specific things. And one of those was the 22 by 22 and shit like that. Like basically you want to run all night. You know what I mean?
Just basically it was that, and you know what I mean. They tried to like. He said he wanted that. He wanted me to drug test Wabata. I mean, like, bro, like it's like it doesn't matter. I mean, I drug test Wabata, so I'm not hiding from anything. You know, you want a bigger ring, we'll fight in a bigger ring. It doesn't really mean nothing. You want to come out second, fuck it, we'll let you come out second. It doesn't matter. All that shit doesn't matter because once we're in the ring, there's only one thing to do, and that's fight.
That's right. And you take every single obstacle he throws at you, and you use that as fuel. And you go in there and you handle your business, and you turn them into dust, and then you open some more doors for yourself. Because you know who I want you to fight, so I don't have to keep saying the man's name, right? You definitely know. I don't have to say his name because you just did. But yeah, you know, I want you to fight.
It's no secret, bro. Like right now, I feel like I'm in a great position. You know, my confidence is an all-time high. You know, I'm coming off of 5 straight KOs. You know, I'm a father. You know, I have a family. You know, I'm very motivated. You know, everything, all the pieces, you know, falling into place at the perfect time. And now they're making this fight with me and Plant pay-per-view. And then the mandatory the winner of this fight is a mandatory for Canelo. So the stakes couldn't be higher, and I couldn't be more happier. You know, this is definitely motivated me a lot. I was already really motivated until they said that I was gonna fight the winner is a mandatory for Canelo. So that just put my motivation at a whole different level. You know what I mean? This is gonna be the best camp I've ever had. You know, I've been sparring. I got 10 rounds. You know, I did 10 rounds. Or was it 8 rounds? Close to there. I think yesterday. So you know what I mean? I'm already coming into this training camp in shape. You know, so I'm excited. I'm ready, and I'm ready to have the best training camp of my life and the best performance of my life.
I was going to actually lead to the training in just a minute. But shout out again to Samson, man, because he really made it happen, man. He didn't let Mauricio off the hook. You know what I mean? So shout out to him. But we do have a fan that wants to ask a question. He's from Australia. We have fans from all around the world. So he's pretty popular in in YouTube. He's always supporting the channel. So he's what's going on, OC guy? You have a question?
Hey, how are you, fellas? How are you, Dave?
What's up, brother?
How are you, man? Hey, shout out to you and your old man, mate. Your dad's a legend. I love hearing you. No one better to speak than when I see your old man, mate. He is a champion. And you must be cut from the same cloth, brother, because I just love his killer, man. There's no shit talk with your old man. It's pure fire, man. I think he's a legend. Hey, and I want to give you a shout out.
I feel like my dad, though. I feel like he talks so much shit that I gotta back it up. You know what I mean? He doesn't even know. You know what I mean? So we work as a team in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool, man. He's cool. Hey, David, I just wanted to ask you, bro, who do you think is your biggest challenge at 168?
I mean, I don't really look at it as who's the biggest challenge. I just feel like I got to be at the best of my abilities, because all these guys are top fighters. Every fighter brings something different into the table. I feel like Caleb Pratt, he's probably the fastest fighter I'm going to fight. You know, he brings a lot of speed. So, you know, we're going to have to be very aware of that speed. We're going to have to be working on a lot of defense. Canelo, you know, he has a lot of experience, throws a lot of punches and bunches, you know, so everybody's really good. But to be honest, I'd say probably without a doubt the most difficult fight at 168 is Canelo Alvarez. But that's fine with me, you know what I mean? I'd rather choose the harder fighters, because I know when I get put in a tough place, the best comes out of me. You know, I know that for a fact. So, you know, that's why I'm really confident in myself that I can beat all these guys. And I'm just, you know, excited to give you guys a great fight along the way, you know, because I really care about all my fans.
Yeah, man. Hey, I just want to let you know, too, that I run the Australian chapter of the David Benavidez fan club.
No, nice. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, bro.
All right, Aussie, man. Appreciate you coming on, Aussie.
Cheers, bro. Have a good one, guys.
All right,
Thank
you too, brother. All right, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Troy. Go ahead, Troy. I wanted it a little more interactive this time. One question for the, that are always supporting the channel. Go ahead, Troy.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna say, David, you look like you're in great shape. You know, where you at right now with the weight and everything?
No, I'm like 194. You know what I mean? And
really,
that honestly, 94, it's like what, like 25 pounds. But I'm drinking 2 gallons of water every day. You know, I'm eating 3 meals a day, and you know, we're giving the body enough fuel right now, not to cut weight, but to, you know, to do 2 hours of boxing training, you know, and you know, and give like a lot of intensity. You know what I mean? So right now we're just, you know, I have like 5 months left or 4 months left. I mean, not too heavy right now, so that's really where I stay at, like 24, 25 pounds. So, you know, we're in good shape right now.
you look good, man. I did not see 190. I thought you was gonna say 185, somewhere around there. You look good.
Because I'm a bigger guy. You gotta understand too. You know,
you 6'2", David?
Yeah, 6'2". You know what I mean? And then when I was younger too, I was always a bigger dude. So you know, I'm naturally a bigger guy. But yeah, right now we're like 195, 194.
Well, I tell you what, man, it was a blessing that the other fight fell through. The Spence Crawford fight fell through, because now yours is in the forefront, right?
Yeah,
rightfully so. Now you're under the big lights, and you're gonna do something big. You're gonna make a statement, and then you're gonna come back here first, because, like I said, this is your home. You can go to bigger shows, but you can't go to any better shows. So,
yes, sir.
So you know, I'm gonna pass you on back to Major on that note, and you come back around, and we'll just bless you up some more.
So with the where you at, right? You're in that secluded, right. Are you still like? Are you already in the camp area that you usually go to? Like the
No,
not
no,
yet.
that's what I'm saying. I don't know where you got that. Where you
No,
saying
you
that
know
you
why?
said
Because it was Ellie clickbaiting today. That's why he put something up and it
Oh
made it look
no,
like you was already in training camp. That's what happened. But
nah, no.
anyway, man.
I'm in Washington right now. That's where I live. But you know, I can't really be leaving right now because I got my family, I got my son. So since I don't have a date, and especially since it's 4 months away, you
Yeah,
know, I can't really be leaving. You know, if I do end up going to Big Bear or somewhere
right.
else, you know, it is going to be like maybe 11 weeks. You know, but as of right now, you know, I haven't got a date for the fight. So you know, we're just waiting on that, and as soon as we get the fight date, you know, we move accordingly to the plan.
But that's good that you started your diet and you're running and all of that, and you know what I mean. And you said you started sparring already.
Yeah,
And so that's great because you know who your opponent's going to be. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
so you already know what you. So it's going to give you time for the muscle memory and all of that. Let
Yeah,
me
and
ask you.
honestly, bro, the thing about me, I don't really stop training for too long. After my fight, I only took like a month off, and since I just stay at home and go to the gym, and you know I'm a dad, you know, there's not really much I do. It's gym, then being a dad, you know. So I'm always basically in shape. I'm always training. So you know what I mean. But this time we made it. I wanted to make it. I wanted to come into camp better shape than any other camp, and like I said, I was doing 8 rounds. You know, I still haven't even got a fight date, and I've been running 5 miles. You know, 3 times a week. You know, been on the diet already. Everything is going good. So I feel like that's gonna give me more stamina and more conditioning and more power to you know to blast through my training camp. You know what I mean? If you go into a training camp and you're already in shape, you know, it's just gonna be you're gonna look 10 times better than going into the training camp not being in shape.
How old is the little one now?
He's 2 years old.
Oh, and so that means you go to the gym. Hey, that's your wind down.
Yeah. No, but
Yeah.
I take him to the gym with me a lot too. So he likes being in the gym, and you know him and my dad spend a lot of time, and you know it makes me really proud because when I was his age, you know my dad was handling me and he was training me. So just to see my dad and my son, you know, interact and him teaching them boxing is definitely a beautiful thing.
Before I pass it back to Troy, man, that is a beautiful thing, man. My son is turned 3 January 1st, 5th, and let me tell you, he's already wearing size 5 clothing.
Oh
Like
wow,
for
yeah.
girls, yeah, he's tall as hell, and he like from the moment he wakes up to the moment he goes to sleep, man, he's not, bro. Like he's like one of them
He's
OCD
active.
kids. Yeah,
Yeah, active.
like he
Yeah,
keeps doing the same thing over and over and over, like until he perfects it. Like he's one of those
yeah,
kids. Like, bro, relax, man. But let me
yeah.
ask
But
your
that,
opinion.
yeah.
Hey, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I said, well, that means that he's going to be an athlete, bro. He's already conditioning his body to be active all
Yeah,
day. So might as well
exactly.
put him into some sports.
I will definitely, especially since he's tall. You know what I mean? Because I'm
Yeah,
6'5". You know, I'm 6'5". So
shit.
like, yeah. So him, he's already, and his mother's 5'10". So I
Oh
mean, he's gonna
wow.
be tall. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be
But
tall. Yeah.
opinion. Because one of the things that I took away from the WBC convention was the fact that they went to lobby for Adames to be the mandatory for Charlo. Charlo hasn't fought since June 19th of 2021. And it didn't seem like they went that way with it, right? So at this point, right, do you feel like the WBC should have either stripped or mandated the fight, stripped them or mandated the fight, or like, what's your opinion as far as being a fighter yourself? If you're trying to get a belt and it's being held and the other person is just holding it back.
I feel like honestly he's wasting too much time, and I think right now he doesn't have time to waste because was he like 33, 32, somewhere right there. You know, so I feel like
Yeah.
these especially these years he has to be really active. You know, and then I haven't seen him fight in a while, and honestly, like you know, he's a great fighter. I mean, I like seeing him fight. I'm not gonna lie, and honestly, it's just he hasn't fought in so long. I just really have forgotten about him. You know, and he still has a lot of good potential fights to make at 160 if he's gonna stay at 160. It's not even about him coming to 68. You know, it's about him giving, like I said, fighters opportunity to fight for the belt. You know, I would love to see him versus what's his name, Jaime Munguia. That would be a great fight. You know, you can still make a fight happen with Golovkin, or if you can't make any of those fights happen, come up to 68. You know, there's a lot of good fights happen. I think he just has to do something, bro. It's just that he's just wasting a lot of time. And I mean, if he's got his own stuff going on, I mean, if he if he doesn't show an interest in fighting, I mean, I think we should all stop talking about him, honestly. But I mean, he's just
Absolutely.
letting his fans down.
That's true. That's true. I just wanted your opinion on that. Go ahead, Troy. But fan in the background, show me your face in the background. I'm not going to show you on screen, but if you want to get on and ask a question, I need you to show your face or type something in the private chat.
Right, yeah, ahead, you know what? I love when you come on because you say so much that all I have to do is listen. Like you always mention being a father. How do you balance that? The fighter, the father, the fighter, the father. How do you go about balancing all that, man?
I think
you're still young, right? What are you, 24, David?
Yeah, 25.
Right. 25, yeah, 25, 24, yeah.
To be honest, the way I look at it, bro, is just that I feel like they're my stability in life. You know, my girlfriend and then my son too. Because to be honest with you, I'm not gonna get no bullshit. A life of a professional fighter, if he's single, it's a wild life. You know what I mean? You know, so it's a wild life. You know, there's a lot of bad stuff you could do. You could drink, you could do drugs, and not be focused and stuff like that. But you know, when you have a family and you have a career, you know, you just want to do good. You know what I mean? I feel like my son is giving me a lot of motivation. You know, my girlfriend, you know, it's giving me a lot of motivation too, and it just makes me want to be a good man. Not only for my son, but to be a role model to other kids, and you know, to be like, you know, this is what a man's supposed to do. You know what I mean? And every fight that I gets bigger. You know, obviously the purses get bigger, and I see that as a way of giving my family a better life. So that just definitely motivates me, and it keeps me going, and it keeps me stable, and it really keeps me motivated. You know, being a father, there's just something that happens that just when you're a father, your motivation goes to a whole different level, and you're like, man, I don't want to do this dumb shit, or I don't want to be around people that, you know, they really don't bring me motivation, or there's no reason I should be there, you know, and that's just how it is for me. You know, I'm really a private person. I don't really go too much places. I just go to the gym, come back home, go to dinner sometimes, and you know, it's really keeping me grounded and really stable right now.
There you go. I tell you what. Mike Tyson called you the Mexican monster, right? That's what he calls you. He calls you the Mexican monster. I got an idea for you. I want you to make this T-shirt. Call yourself the greatest, the greatest Latino fighter of this era. And every time old boy fights, you don't have to go in the ring. Just have you and your family at all four corners of the ring. Just, and have that shirt on. The greatest Latino fighter of this era.
Yeah.
And then you go into his press conferences and you just stand there, greatest Latino fighter of this era.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, that itch is gonna have to be scratched.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, because fighters are prideful, man. As you know, I don't have to tell you that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Fighters got that pride in them, and if you got the pride in him, like I think he does, he's gonna want to shut you up, even though you're not saying a word. But sometimes silence is very loud when you're making a statement. You understand?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So that's just my thought to you, and I love your response to the father thing, because I know I've seen fathers and trying to be boxers, and it's rough. It's a rough life, man.
Yeah,
it's a rough life. But listen, brother, you have a lot. I keep telling you the same thing every time you come on. I see something in you, and you're gonna be great. That's because I'm not boxing no more. You're lucky, but nah. But nah. You're gonna be great, man. You just have to get some doors open for you. So after you take care of sweetness, I mean sweet hands.
Sweetness. That's a good one. I'm gonna use that. Everyone I try to mention them in the press conference.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man. Just stay on that path, right?
Phone call.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Just stay on that path, man, and you'll find your own greatness, man, because it's out there. And tell your dad I definitely want him to come on the show, man. I definitely want to see him on the show. He's a real cool cat,
Yeah, I'll definitely let him know.
All right, Major, man, jump back in here. I know you said you had some more questions to ask him about the future of his career. Greatness. That's the future of your career, greatness. And I want you to make that T-shirt for real.
I got you. Thank you, brother.
On some I mean, right now with the sport, with the I know you guys deal a lot with PBC, and there's rumors and all of that. I mean, you probably don't know any of this because I mean, you're the fighter. You know what I'm saying? Your job is to go in and do the fighting and all of that. But I hear there's transitions with all the Showtime and all of that, and things like that. What do you feel like the state of the sport is going to be like? Because you said your title bout is going to be pay-per-view, right? And it's very worth pay-per-view. But there's a lot of nonsense coming out that we're being asked to pay for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish every fight was a David Benavidez versus a Caleb Plant. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. You know what I mean? Like, we're getting like, sometimes like 2 B- to C level fighters, and we've been asked to pay $75, $80. So, I mean, what do you feel like the state of the boxing, state of boxing is looking like right now for you?
I mean, I feel like if the fight just speaks for itself. I feel like, if it's 2 great fighters, it definitely has to be a pay-per-view fight. But if it's just, if the 2 fighters are not like really elite fighters, I don't think it should be a pay-per-view. But I don't know. I don't think like Showtime. I don't think, what I mean, so, like them. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. Yeah.
Got you. Yeah. My bad. Didn't want to. Because it's just like it's not necessarily. I use Showtime as an example, but it's just like overall, man. It's just like it's a little disappointing as a fan. You know what I mean? But like I said, man, yours is definitely worth it. I'm a little disappointed I got pushed back, but I'm happy that it's still happening. You know what I mean? So whether it got pushed back, you know what I mean, for whatever legitimate reason, the fact that it's still happening and not being canceled. That's
what got pushed back.
I thought was the fight pushed back or no? I thought it was going to be like a little earlier, but it's going to be March.
No, definitely it was always in March. I did it.
Okay.
What's his name? Mike Cooper, some shit like that said that. I forgot his name, bro. Mike.
Yeah.
He said he's the only one who said January. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but you see,
January.
but that's why it's always a pleasure to have you on to
yeah.
things. You see what I'm saying? That's why I ask you these things because we hear a bunch of nonsense and it's like we hear like 4 or 5 different stories all over YouTube, like being posted a week, 2 weeks, and then everything changes, and then so unless you hear from the horse, you really don't know. So that's why.
So I mean, the reason I kind of held back with these interviews too, because I don't want to be out there giving false information either. I was waiting for them to give me the exact date, but they're, as the way that happens, they're looking for the venue and stuff. But they told me March. That's exactly what they told me. So it could be a little, maybe a week before March or 2 weeks after March. We don't know, but it's definitely it's gonna be in that time frame. But yeah, it was never January. That's why when I seen that, I was kind of like. But I mean, the good thing is that people are excited. Everybody wants to report on the fight, so that's the good thing. That's the good thing about it.
Hell yeah, man! I mean, everybody's because like I said, last time you were on with us, you were I don't know if you remember that, but you were freaking hyped up about like you were pissed off at all of them. You wanted to fight everybody, man. I think you had just finished training too. You were in camp and you came out in a white tee. You know what I'm saying? No accessories on, just like straight pissed off. And I'm like, this dude, like he's on it right now. He's pissed off. So I'm glad.
I was definitely in the zone. I think that was in Big Bear. But like I said, you keep. There's 2 ways it could go, man. You could stay quiet and just wait for the fight to happen, or you could be vocal and talk shit. You're gonna get criticized in both situations, both scenarios. Especially now that social media is out. So much people like to criticize everything a boxer does or whatever route they take. If they want to be nice, they say, "Oh, you're being too nice. You need to talk more shit." You talk shit, you'd be like, "Oh, you're talking too much shit. You need to humble up." You know what I mean? But it took me a while to get these fights. I feel like if I never would have put the pressure on, nothing would ever happen. If I wouldn't have been as vocal as I am, or my dad wouldn't be as vocal as he is, the fights would never happen. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's not my job to make these fights happen. I feel like everybody should already be fighting. You know what I mean? Because this is a promotion company. It's good for everybody. But then the things that happen sometimes is when you try to make a fight happen, in the back, this guy don't want to fight. Then this guy don't want to fight. Then this guy don't want to fight. They don't admit it, but that's what happens sometimes. But I think now that there was just so much pressure, especially Canelo saying that he wants to fight Caleb Plant next. There was no room for him to run. You know what I mean? And especially now that the winner of this fight gets Canelo, it had to be done. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I feel like we did a good job getting the fight. It took me a long time. I was very frustrated, as you see me from last year, because the whole time I thought I was either going to get Canelo or Caleb Plant or a big fight. I ended up fighting. I fought Angulo, then I fought Kyron Davis, and I fought David Lemieux. That whole time, I was trying to make a fight with Caleb Plant, Charlo, or Canelo. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's not my fault. You know, I really tried. I really tried to get those fights. But now, like I said, the timing must be perfect because it was made at a perfect time. You know what I mean? Everything is falling,
Yep.
is aligning together. So now I'm ready, man. I'm ready to go.
Take it one fight at a time, man, and you got it all lined up. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, you know what I mean? It's gonna be on your watch. It's gonna be what you say. You know what I mean?
Sir.
So, and they're gonna be searching for you, trying to call you out. You know, so that's a beautiful thing, man. But let me I believe we had to the 30 mark. So let me just ask you as far as the upcoming fights. What are you looking most forward to?
So there was this fight that I was just on another interview right now that he brought it up. Was it Frank Martin versus
Michelle
Rivera? That's gonna be a banger, man. And especially because I like Frank Martin a lot. He's an amazing fighter, but Rivera is a great fighter too. He's Dominican, right?
Yeah, that should be a dope fight.
These Dominicans have just been coming up, beating everybody, bro. So you know they're definitely the force to be reckoned with. He's a good fighter, so I think that's a great fight for the weight class. And then also I hope the other fight that I hope that they make happen is Shakur Stevens and Isaac Cruz. That's another fucking amazing fight. That should be, honestly, I wouldn't be mad with the pay-per-view. But if they give it for free, then shit, it's cool too. But I wouldn't be mad with the pay-per-view.
Yeah, because Isaac Cruz is exciting, and Shakur, we already know that he's gonna go far. You know what I'm saying? We already know he's going places. So I would pay for that as well.
Yeah, and then I don't know where we're at with the Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, but that looked like that would have been probably one of the biggest fight of the year.
Yeah.
And then too, there's a lot of good fights happening, bro. Earl Spence is gonna fight too. We don't know if he's gonna get Thurman, he's gonna get Boots, or he's gonna get there's somebody else in that weight class, but there's whoever fights is gonna be a great fight, So I feel like 2023 is probably the best year of fights that we had, in the past 5 years. You know what I mean? So, and then we still haven't even got word of any of the heavyweights, because the heavyweights are definitely gonna fight this year or 2023.
Well, yeah, they mandated yesterday. They mandated Wilder versus Ruiz.
Oh yeah, well then there you go. It's a massive year, bro, and there's gonna be a lot of great fights. Yeah. So I feel like that puts boxing back on the map again. I feel like what's kind of fucking it up is there's just so much promoters and so much fights can be made. Yeah. I think it's a really bummer that we didn't get Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford, but I feel like throughout the years everybody's gonna get on the same page and realize that this is gonna be the best thing for boxing.
Facts. Now, I definitely every single fight that you just mentioned right now, I'm definitely looking forward to. The Thurman versus Spence, though, I know Richard Schaefer was out there arguing for that. Well, he didn't stand up to argue for that one because he said that Stanionis is the mandatory, and that regardless of what they mandated, they're gonna have to go through them first, and that depends.
So he is the mandatory.
That's what Richard Schaefer went on record saying. He was talking to Ness on the Boxing Voice. He was talking to him there at the convention because Ness was out there. And shout out to TVV. Yeah.
What happened? I thought Boots put in the petition to be the mandatory for the IBF. Nothing happened with that.
For the IBF, I don't know about it because this was a WBC convention. But what happened was with the Errol Spence wanting to fight Thurman, they mandated that. But then Richard Schaefer was saying afterwards that they can mandate it, but he already is the Stanionis is already the mandatory, so he's going to have to fight Stanionis unless Stanionis agrees to more step aside money, because he's already taken step aside money a couple of times for the Ugas fight and Ugas versus Pacquiao. So I would really like to see Stanionis go up there and fight one of the top, because if Crawford and Spence are not fighting each other, then I want to see Stanionis in there. I want to see Boots Ennis. I want to see Virgil Ortiz. I want to see no longer Conor Ben. He needs to clean up on whatever the hell he's doing. You know what I mean? But besides that, you know what I mean? Like, I want to see the people that deserve a shot. I want to see them get the shot.
Yeah, definitely.
Because what they want to do is they want them to cancel each other out, right?
Yeah.
As the young people, they want to stay on the throne and keep eating while the youngins keep canceling each other out. Nah, it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like let them eat too, and if they beat you, they beat you. If you beat them, you beat them, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like we'll see what happens with them, but I feel like if he fights Stanionis, I feel like he beats him, and then hopefully the fight with Crawford comes after that one, because I feel like Crawford, he should have no problem either with the guy he's fighting. So hopefully there's still I still have hope that the fight will be made. You know, I feel like that's a fight we need. Not that we want. I feel like that's a fight we need. You know, we need to see that. You know, we need to see those two guys fight it out and see who wins. So we'll see what happens.
I'm gonna ask you one more question because the chat is a little nervous to talk to you, man. They see the tiger in your eyes, bro. Like they nervous to click the link. So usually they're not so hesitant. You know what I mean? You know, but whatever. So let me ask you this: when your career is said and done, right? What do you want people to say about David Benavidez?
Best Mexican or best fighter in this generation. You know, best Latino. But it's funny that this guy he said that about making the shirt, and that's
Latino fighter of this era.
That's what I want to be. That's definitely what I want to be. You know, and I've thought of that for a long time, and now that I'm in the position to actually make that happen, you know, I feel like this is gonna be the best, the most years the most dedicated in my life. You know what I mean? And I'm definitely gonna make that happen. You know, because it's one thing to have a dream, but it's another thing to see it through. You know, I mean, I feel like everybody who's ever wants to be anything, you know, they have to put that work in to make sure that dream comes true. You know, and never accept failure. Just keep striving for greatness, and that's exactly what we're gonna try to do.
That's one of the reasons. But I'm gonna let Troy finish up and close his part off, so we don't bring you over time here. But one of the things one of the reasons that we wanted to keep bringing you on here was because the first time we had the interview, right, I asked you about your dark spaces and all that, and you answered so honestly, and you said, you know what I mean, like you're dedicated, you're rededicated yourself. So there's nothing but love and support for you know what I'm saying, because everybody make mistakes, you know what I'm saying, but it seems like the haters want to hold on to that because they want a reason to duck, or they want a reason to say, hey, that's a bad guy, you know what I mean, this and this and that. But you know what I mean, like, just so you know, you got a bunch of support on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? My channel is one of the channels. I see a lot of other channels that really support you. So even though like some of the bigger channels that have been around for a long time, right, that hate on you, trust me when I tell you, there's just as many people on underground channels that love you. So never let that get under your skin.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
No doubt, man. Troy, go ahead, land the plane, and then David can tell us where to find him and all that.
No problem. Troy. Troy, but listen, let me give you a chance to do something that no other podcast or any other reporter is going to do. Why don't you now play the part of the reporter and tell all these podcasters and these fans, just every time you come to their show, you know, some of the do's and don'ts they shouldn't do with you, because too many times I see fighters go on shows and they're just like this. Man, I you know, they just man, I just really want this to end. And you're smiling because you've done that before, haven't you?
I've done that when I was like, are you talking to me or are you talking to Troy? Or are you talking
no. This is Troy talking to you. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. No, I mean, I've done that when I was like 12 years old, bro. But like, you gotta, at the end of the day, you gotta learn how to speak yourself. You gotta speak your mind, and you got to make a person want to be a fan of you. You know, you can't just be boring. Right. I mean, I feel like a lot of people listen to me because I've been through a lot of stuff, and I've been through the highs and I've been through the lows. You know what I mean? So you just got to keep going, and you got to let people go. Let people know, you know, it's cool. You can make mistakes, but it's not about the mistakes you make. It's about how you react and you come back up and how you rebound. You know what I mean? I feel like there's not a lot of people that have been like, especially boxers, have been through the shit I've been through publicly. So I get a lot of people talking shit, but I feel like a lot of the people go through the same shit I go through. You know what I mean? So I mean, I'm just happy with having this crowd and the people that follow me. And you know, you got to be entertaining. At the end of the day, you're an entertainer. You either got to be entertaining when you're fighting, and you know, throw some jokes here and there, be entertaining, talk some shit. You know, that's what the people want to see at the end of the day.
Right. But I know it's difficult, man, because you get asked the same freaking questions by.
It's a part of the job. It's a part of the job.
I know, brother.
It's a part of the job. Yeah.
I was just curious to get your answer on that, but I tell you what, man. When I say come back after you handle your fight with Sweetness, I'm gonna keep calling the boy Sweetness until we get him on the show. Then I'm gonna call him Sweet Hands. but definitely, man. Definitely hope to see you again after you handle your business, right? And like I said, I see greatness in you, man. You just got to be. You just need to get those doors open, and make that T-shirt.
Yeah.
Do me a favor before you leave. Say it. Say the words I said it was going to be on the shirt. You know, the greatest Latino fighter of this era.
The
Huh?
greatest Latino fighter this era.
I don't believe a word you just said. Boy, you better put your
Man,
chest into that.
man, I'm gonna be the greatest Latino fighter this era, bro. I promise
There you go, brother. There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Well, hey man, I had one person in the background that left, my boy Roland. I don't know what happened to him, but we got 4 minutes, so it's one question, Renee Boxing. I'm gonna let you on. Renee Boxing also has his own channel. I'm gonna let you on one question, brother, because we got to wrap it up. We got time restraints. All right.
Yeah, no problem. Can
Renee
you hear me?
Boxing, yes, sir. I can hear you, brother.
Salute to the panel. Hey, Key, thank you so much. What a wonderful opportunity. Champ, David Benavidez, salute from Mexico. I admire what you do, man. Quick question, man. Okay, so the plant Benavidez, right? Apparently it looks like it's going to go down maybe around next year, right? Early next year. Should you get through plant, man, which I think it's going to be a great challenge, no? But should you get through plant, do you plan on, because apparently it's going to be for title eliminator for WBC, Canelo would supposedly be up next, but we know what Canelo's saying about not fighting Mexicans, whatever, right? Would you move up to 175?
I mean, no, I wouldn't move up to someone. It's either he fights me, he has to vacate the belt. Why would I beat Caleb Plant and move up to 75? You know what I mean? It's the mandatory that Canelo has to fight me or he has to vacate the belt. You know, those are the rules. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna give it one more shot, and I'm gonna try to get all those belts. You know, God willing, I'm successful with everything, then I'll move up. You know what I mean? But that's the plan. You know, it doesn't matter if it's Canelo or somebody else. You know, my plan is I want to be undisputed at 168. That's what I want to do before I leave the 168-pound weight class. You know, and it's right there. It's on my grasp. You know, it's 2 fights away. So that's definitely the plan. And I know I could do it. I know in my heart I'm the best 168 one super middleweight in the division. So I'm just ready for whatever comes my way.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the question, man. Peace out. I'll be tuning in the background. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I can't hear you, Major. You're saying something, but we can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying, Roland, go ahead, because you were backstage earlier. Go ahead and ask your question. We got less than 2 minutes, brother. So make it quick, and you know what I mean, and because we got time restraints.
Yeah, I'll try to make it quick. My little long-winded.
By the way, hold up, David. This guy actually goes to Border Wars, man. He actually goes and fights on Border Wars, brother.
Really?
Yeah, just so you know, this guy like is a regular street guy, bro, and he goes to Border Wars all the time to fight, man.
Nice, brother.
Go ahead, Roland. Go ahead.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, appreciate that, Major, man. Hey, okay, yeah. First of all, I want to say it truly is a privilege, though, man, David, and I shout out to you, Major Keith, for allowing me to hop on here and ask a question, you, David, and shit. Truly appreciate that. All right, I'm not going to try to be on no negative or try to start anything. No, but I just got a question and shit. Have you ever thought to yourself, David, I want to be one of like the best boxers ever. You know, I want to be one of the best boxers ever, and just to go down to one of the best boxers ever of my time, my era. Just so like 20 years down the road, when we're at the family Thanksgiving dinner or whatever and shit, I can look at Jose and be like, hey, Jose, I was a better boxer, bro, or I had the better career. You know, like, I mean, has ever kind of thought, like, because I know how brotherly competitions are. I don't got no brothers, but I know how like brotherly competitions is. Like, have you ever thought to yourself that, man?
It's 100% that. That's
no offense,
100% what happened. No, it's 100%. Every time I see him, we always get at each other. Like, I told you I was gonna be better than you.
That's what's up. Yeah. Man. What's up, man?
Hell yeah.
Hey, Roland,
cool.
Appreciate your question, man. David,
I just wanted to know boxers thought like that.
I appreciate it, man. David, I know it's your time, brother. You tell everybody where to follow you. You go ahead and let them know. Give any final messages, man. And I appreciate you always being open to us. And your camp, by the way. Your camp is very responsive, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, we could. You can follow me at Benavidez 300 with all like the latest news of everything. That's my Instagram. I got an internet site where I sell merch. It's davidbenavidez.shop, and you can get all the latest and newest merch I have right there. But you know, until next time, bro. You know, we're really excited, bro. This is definitely really motivated, not only for myself, but I know for you guys. You guys are gonna get a hell of a fight. This is gonna be a fucking war. It's gonna be a war, bro. And I guarantee you, I'm gonna leave with my hand raised in victory.
That's what's up, man. I'm dead ass I'm gonna reach out to your team, brother. Like I'm gonna try to be one of those first ones afterwards. So so definitely I definitely want to hear about the whole thing afterwards, man. But shout out to you. Thank you again for your time, brother.
Greatest Latino fighter of this era.
Thank you,
right, David Benavidez.
All right,
man. Appreciate that. Word up. So y'all got it right there, loud and clear from the horse's mouth, man. David Benavidez. Now the panel's open. If y'all want to chop it up, the panel's open now.
Yes,
so,
sir.
You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, sometimes when we have time restraints, we got to make sure that we stick to those time restraints, and get everything that we can out. So, it is what it is. But there's the link. Anybody want to jump in? You let me know. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, man, Troy, how do you feel about that, man? And thank you, everybody, for showing up, by the way. Everybody in the building, man. Lisa Bells, Queen Lisa Bells, thank you, sis, for showing up. Tony Boswell, my brother. Johnny Blaze. Carl Hansen for jumping up here. SOG, MXBC. Yo, Philip, shout out to you too, brother. You know what I'm saying? Had to do what I had to do, though. You know how it gets. Renee Boxing, I think I said what's up to you. TY. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, man. Everybody in the chat. Mr. Doc. You know what I mean? If I miss somebody, Ralph Unreal. If I miss somebody, I apologize, bro. But Bruce Gas, Slight Tendencies. You know what I mean? If I miss somebody, apologies. But yeah, I mean, so what'd you think about the interview, man? Troy?
It was a good conversation, man. And it was our first time back in a minute, and it's a good conversation because he's been here 3-4 times already. So
G-Funky boxing as well. G-Funky as well. My bad.
Yeah, he's been here 3 or 4 times. I think we've had him on the most out of all the podcasts. So that's another first, right? So just a good. No. I guess I just want to take credit for everything.
We a small channel, man. I mean, we get legitimate interviews though, but we a smaller channel, man. You get some channels that have one all the time. You know what I mean?
I don't. Yeah, you mean we small in number, but we large in character, right?
I could tell you that we probably got like one of the most loyal fan bases. I could tell you that because I could be gone for a month and it goes up instead of going down. You know
There's a cat out here somewhere. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So what about you, man? What's the fights that you looking forward to the most?
He mentioned the fight with Shakur and the other young brother whose name escapes me at the
Pitbull.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that because that right there, you have a fighter and a boxer. You have a guy that won't stop and a guy that'll definitely, if he boxes, he might box circles around him, or he might get in his pride and want to stand with him. You never know, right? That'll be a good fight right there. Then who was the other one you mentioned? The heavyweights, Frank, somebody.
Frank Martin, and Michelle Rivera.
Yeah, and you know what? He mentioned Wilder and Ortiz. That's an interesting fight. I hope Ortiz comes in shape, but that's a very interesting fight,
TY's right too. TY in the chat said Regis and Zepeda. That's true. That's coming up.
Yeah. Okay.
Prograis and Zepeda.
Yeah, but that's a good fight right there. You have speed against power right there with Ruiz and Wilder.
That's true. That's absolutely true, man.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting fight. And we all know that Ryan is never going to fight Tank. There she goes. That's a fat cat. Yeah, we all know that Ruiz Tank is never going to get a chance to fight Ryan as long as he stays with PBC. So nice to talk about it, but it'll never happen.
No doubt. Yo, Renee Boxing, you're more than welcome to jump back on. Anybody's welcome to jump back on, man. The interview's done. We can clip that part if we need to. So it's all good from now on, man. Like if y'all want to jump back on, it's all good. What's going on, Aussie guy?
Not much, mate. Not much, bro. That was cool. That was good to get.
I appreciate you having the balls to click the link and ask him a question. I try to make it interactive, but everybody's like afraid to ask a question.
Oh fuck!
Why?
I got questions to ask. No, that's cool, man. Thanks for that, bro. Thanks. I really appreciate it, man.
Making me very nervous with that lizard eye, man.
That's a creek. We call that a creek lizard. Yeah, I'll give you a scarier one. So what's going on?
I'm saying, man, just hyped up, man. I'm really hyped up because every time David comes on and when he talks about Caleb Plant, he really wants to fuck him up, man. He really wants to fuck up Caleb Plant, you know. We got another special guest here. Hold on 1 second.
Hey, Major Key, sorry.
Oh, it's all good. Did you catch any of it?
What?
Did you catch any of it?
A little bit of it. I was I was talking to Neil about it, is that like just the fact that of how he got positioned at the BC, was amazing. So I'm really happy for him.
Yeah.
Like that's especially because you don't know if they're gonna tell if they're gonna place Canelo in a champion recess status because of his injury and how he's gonna recover. I mean, because people have asked us, they're like, oh, well, Nonito had shoulder surgery. How long did it take them? I'm like, it's not the same. You can't just be like, oh, I had surgery here. Is it the same? Because Canelo, like, if it's his wrist, there's a lot of impact, and he has to do physical therapy, and then in addition, like, make sure that the weight of his punches can sustain the impact of that injury. And I think he should take more time off because it's such a key thing. Like, of course, with Nonito's shoulder, like it's that's not the first thing that gets impact. The first thing that gets impact is your knuckles, your hand, and your wrist.
Right.
So, but I mean, what would happen if they ended up putting him in recess and they're doing the final eliminator? Will they be elevated to a regular champion at that point, or until he comes out of recess and then they have to mandate the fight between those two? Whoever the winner is.
Positioned himself, right? He definitely positioned himself correctly, which why I was so proud of him, because he's already looking how to position himself after this fight. He's not waiting for them to try to set him up in a different fight afterwards. He took advantage of the WBC convention. And Samson, shout out to Samson. Samson was over there, like, not letting them off the hook at all. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I love Samson. He's just hilarious. When you say his name, I just laugh because he's like, Samson Liquids and Samson Liquids LLC. We're like, yes, we know who the hell you are, Samson. Stop it already, But no, everyone applauded when that came up. Like, that was a great move. And so yeah, no, I think it was if you didn't come here, like, one of the biggest things that me and Nonito had to take away from, we always had representation, but this is the first time Nonito actually went to represent himself. We saw fighters get passed over in the rankings because they had no representation, mandatory positions and etc. They weren't here to speak on. They just got what they were handed. Like, they didn't have any say on it. In addition to someone like Alicia Baumgartner's trainer, Tony Sampson, had came up and said that, that Fundora should be able to fight for the title because they haven't been able to talk to Tony. And Alicia stood up and she's like, I'm speaking for Tony. And she said, we're ready, willing, and able to fight. And so now, they have to fight. So it's just a really, really fun, like, situation that you really don't get what you don't ask for, right?
Right.
And just seeing this whole game play out was amazing. But for us, what happened to us, Major Keys, right?
Yeah. They try to Maloney's camp try to hustle you guys. Like, they agreed the day before and then try to, like, back out of it or try to position themselves a little better or whatever.
They basically tried to get an email champion position. Like, basically, like, so they're like, oh, we're good, we hear you, and this is what we agree. And then the next day, then they're like, we want to have Jason elevated to full champion after Inoue vacates, without having to fight Nonito. Just elevate him to full champion. Then we have to go in negotiations with him as a champion. And we're like, whoa, what? Like, do you have short-term memory or something? We said that yesterday we would fight for the vacant. And this is kind of why Nonito, sometimes I like to just put the nail in the coffin, right? I don't like any stone unturned. And we contested for Nonito to be number one. And they went back and forth. And we conceded to be number 2 as long as they're agreeing that they're going to fight us for the vacant. And they said yes. I stood up. When did I stood up when they said something about being number 1. And Nonito, I was sitting right next to the mic with Nonito, and he kind of pulled me down to sit back down. And he's like, what? And I was like, I'm going to contest it. We asked for 1. And he goes, it's okay. We should be happy with number 2. This is what happens when you don't think someone's coming for your throat. And I had said, he goes, what would you have said? And I go, easy. The person that he fought, the number 2 position, who was positioned before Nonito, because Nonito coming into the convention was number 4. I was like, he was 52-1. Yes, correct. Do we understand that? We all agree? Yeah. Okay, cool. Sounds really pretty, but 3-4 fights ago, he was fighting someone with 0-1-0. 5 fights ago, he fought someone who had a debut. So if you just want a pretty padded record without quality opponents, we could do that all day and knock out every single person that comes out of the amateurs. But I thought that we're upholding the quality of opponents. And yet Jason had fought someone in this, eliminator or whatever, who was a wash. You can't tell me that you're allowed to count the 0-1-0 and the debut 4 fights ago and say this guy is a level opponent.
Yeah.
So I was coming for him, and Nonito's like, stop, it's okay. And I'm like, babe, people are not nice. And sure enough, they showed, that they weren't going to be nice the next day at the mandatories. If we weren't there, who knows what would have happened? Because Nonito's like, we don't need to go to the mandatories.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
screwed. You would have gotten screwed.
Exactly. We would have woken up and found out that he just gets emailed a medal.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. I'm glad that you guys were paying attention and not letting them try to outwit you with that. You know what I mean? And you guys knew what you needed to do and all of that because, hey, I mean, we don't need to wait around. Donaire is a freaking legend. If he wants to fight, you know what I'm saying? Let him fight. You know what I mean? Like don't try to put him in the back of the line. You know what I'm saying? Hell no, crazy. You know what I mean?
But Nonito's never been elevated from any position. He's always had to fight for his title. So this new age of let me just email you when you get the belt. Come on, dude. That's just what are we talking about? It's silly.
So,
but then there was that thing at 15 too, because Jason talked for Andrew, and he said that I guess Andrew is the mandatory position, and they were kind of trying to push that the winner of Chocolatito Estrada should be the next fight for Andrew, and we blocked it again, and we're like, we discussed this at the ratings meeting. Everyone has short-term memory right now, but we discussed this yesterday. And we said, and Mauricio told Matchroom Boxing on 2 occasions that the winner of the Chocolatito Estrada fight will have a voluntary defense before they have to be mandated into a position. And now you're trying to shove the mandate down his throat when they just told you yesterday no.
Wow. They were trying to play 3-card money with you guys. They were trying to use the sleight of hand. But I'm glad you guys were paying attention. I got Troy Graham. By the way, this is my co-host Troy Graham.
Hi, sir.
If you have any questions, this is Rachel Donaire, of course, Nonito Donaire's wife. And so if you have any questions, because I want to find out what were the most interesting moments of the convention, and the least I know right now it's interesting because you guys are stuck somewhere, which is I'm not gonna say nothing, but Troy, if you have any other questions unrelated to that, go ahead and ask.
Let me tell you something, Rachel. I am a huge fan of your husband as a fighter and a human being, and I'll tell you why. He fought my countryman, a guy by the name of Nicholas Walters, right? Now I understand he lost that fight, but how he conducted himself after the fight and how they were to each other after the fight, I knew that he was a blessed human being after that, that I've never stopped watching him fight after that,
Wow, I appreciate that.
He's definitely one of my favorite fighters. And just now listening to you talk, you two sound like a power couple when it comes to boxing. You know what you need to do and you pay attention. And for some reason, as you were talking, I kept thinking about, Zuma Nelson. So, maybe what I'm trying to say is that, he's the Zuma Nelson of this era. Because I can't tell the time, because he's been a champion more than he's been a fighter, right?
Pretty much.
That's the same thing as the Zuma. Every time you write him off, he seems to climb. He seems to climb to the top. He seems to get to the apex of the mountain, or the top of the mountain, right? And that's a spirit. Because I don't know how many times people have said it's his time to retire. He's in the twilight. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. And he finds that love and that passion to come on back.
Hey man, Nonito, thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. My voice is gone. I've been partying too much at the convention. I mean, it's loud music and all of that stuff. But hey, I appreciate you, bro. I kind of caught a little bit of it here and there. She wanted me to hear a little bit of it. But I appreciate that, man. Life is all about reinventing itself. If you don't reinvent yourself, if you don't grow, there ain't nothing else but wait for you to get old. That's it.
Absolutely, brother. And because of your spirit, man, your legend will never get old. You might retire in 10, 20 years from now. Someone's still gonna sing your praises like I'm singing it now. And I'm not a guy that gets starstruck or anything like that. But I'll tell you, man, when you fought my countrymen and how you handled yourself, how both of you handled yourself after the fight, I was like, this dude is a legend, man, and I'm always gonna watch him fight, always. Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. The thing about it, and everybody knows this, is because fighters, we go through a lot of things. We go through life and death and situation. You never know what's going to happen, and that's why I got the greatest respect for every fighter, regardless if I'm going in the ring with them, is because I know how it is. It's blood, sweat, and tears, and that's for reals.
Absolutely, man. I hope this actually happens on the day that you actually say that this is my last fight, right?
Yes, sir.
I want Pacquiao to walk you out, man. I want Pacquiao to walk you to the ring, man. That's what I would love to see happen.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that,
man. Definitely.
Thank y'all. Man. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man. You got to come back to the show when your voice is better, man, and do interviews.
I know, man. Yeah. I know. I get so excited. I get overly excited. I'm very passionate about life. For me, I've always looked at it. My kids teach me a lot of this stuff. About living the moment. So when I'm in with everybody, like meeting the legends that I grew up watching, I go crazy. I'm like a super fan with everybody. So that's why I lose my voice, because I'm yelling all over the place. I'm having fun. I'm screaming, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm blessed, brother. I'm blessed, man. But I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, you definitely are.
Listen, we blessed just talking to you right now, brother. Like I watched you, that fight I watched live. I was sitting on the couch when you knocked out Vic Darchinyan, brother. And Vic Darchinyan, you said,
man,
ego maniac, bro. He was so full of himself. And when you knocked him out, I think it was the 7th round, bro. I was watching it live, bro. You know what I'm saying? And when you did that shit,
yes,
I was
sir.
like, oh shit, this dude is nice.
Hey, and it's funny because even my countrymen didn't even care to interview me going into that fight, but at the same time, I was grateful for it because I had something. When you're young, you have something to prove every time, and because of that, I was able to have that determination in my heart to prove everybody wrong. At this moment, I'm just having fun because I've done what I need to do. I've proven whatever that I wanted to prove to everybody. There's nothing in me that needs to prove to anyone. You know what I'm saying? So, but in that time though, man, I wanted to shut everybody up because nobody care about who I was, and they thought I was gonna get knocked out.
Yeah, no, you were a big underdog. I remember that, and I was like, why they got this guy underdog? He's like, he's got a nice freaking hook and stuff, right? But I guess yes, because Vic Darchinyan was so like, flashy and he used to talk. A lot of people used to believe his hype, right? But
definitely.
Yeah, he was a little awkward.
He was awkward, but he did have that pop. And at the same time, he was knocking everybody out. He knocked my brother out, so you know what I'm saying? Like the little brother's gonna come in And if the big brother can't do nothing about it, how is a little guy can, a little brother can beat the his older brother can do it, right? But at the same time, everybody saw how good of a record Darchin was, and then beyond that, he was knocking everybody out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely. To be honest with you, I saw that fight too, and I said to myself, this dude's only defense is his hook and his chin. I saw he went in the
Yep.
fight seriously from after the first round. I said he's gonna knock him out. I sat right. I turned to my friends. I said, watch this. And sure enough, you made me look like a superstar that night, man. So thank you.
No, thank you guys, man.
All right, appreciate it, man. Get back to enjoying yourself, man. You know what I mean?
Nah, if you got a question, bro, I'm like I'm always happy. But yeah, maybe we can schedule a time,
Yeah.
just talk about boxing and all that stuff. But I do truly apologize for my voice because man, listen, for me, I'm always this, and I go big. I go big. I never go home. I go big, bro.
Hey, listen, man. You out there enjoying yourself. You know what I'm saying? Great weekend, or great week of information. I can't blame you for having fun, man. So don't even worry about it. We'll schedule a time in the future, and we'll follow up with that.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Also, brother, before you go, I'm gonna tell you something honestly.
Hi, German. Sorry about that. He has like absolutely no voice.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for letting him come on. But I want to let him know that I have a list that I made, of different fighters I want to talk to before I retire or whatever the case may be. And his name was on the list. His name was definitely on the list. So you made my night with that. So thank you.
No, of course. Yeah, I think once he like has rest and his voice recovers, it'll probably be a better interview. And like that's the thing. Like when he was saying about like people second guessed him, let me tell you, like, and of course, I'm watching the chats and I'm seeing stuff, and I'm like, every single time they're like, oh, well, he should retire. He should retire. I was like, y'all said that after the Ubali fight. Y'all said that after the Carl Frampton fight. Y'all said that like numerous times, and every single time this man shows up. I mean, you guys can be completely honest with me. In the 18 division, who besides Inoue poses an actual threat to Nonito?
Very good question. That's a good question.
That's a great question.
And I was very honest with him after the Inoue fight. I said, we're not doing this. We're not. I was like, I can't see you like this. And there were certain happenings before the fight that we choose not to discuss because we don't want to put out like we're excuses. Like Inoue has his flowers from that night. Like I'm not going to take anything away from him, but at the same time, like I look at the division and I'm watching the rankings in any of the sanctioning bouts, and there's not really anyone that I am worried about. Nonito's scary. He's scary as all hell. And Inoue was the one that was able to match his power and surpass it during that fight. But besides that, who else is a bigger puncher in the 18?
Yeah, no, not in that division. Yeah.
No one.
Rachel, let me ask you, what were the highlights of the convention? And obviously, besides the Maloney Donaire situation, besides that, what was the low point?
I feel like the low point was more of a personal issue for me. I feel like the agenda continuously changed, and throughout the week, they moved times, and I wasn't able to be present for the women's boxing panel. During the women's boxing panel, they actually moved the transgender discussion into the women's boxing panel. And I wanted to be there to be able to support these women. And unfortunately, I showed up for the ratings. I guess Mauricio was looking for me. And I told everyone there, I'm like, why didn't you text me? I would have ran over. But to hear like kind of the arguments that were going on about 2 and 3 minutes, the topics about the transgender and what they couldn't or didn't want to say about the topic, about the health of the women, how people had said that, well, women are getting tired from 2 minutes, so maybe they can't last three. Um, there were so many things I was ready to speak on for these women. I unfortunately missed it. And what broke my heart even more was that night when we were all at the bar, I talked to a lot of the women there, and they said that they were afraid to speak up because they're afraid of their rankings being dismissed. Like, oh, well, and like for me, I'm like, put it on me. I'll say fighter A or fighter B, believes this, and fighter C and believes this, like, so you won't get like, have your rankings affect you. I'm not saying that is even a possibility, because I don't want to feel the bad in people. I don't think that Mauricio would ever do that to these women. But the fact that they're so hesitant in speaking that a man shouldn't be in our sport, um, is is unfortunate to me, and I felt like I failed them this convention by not being there during that panel. So that was the low for me.
Yeah, they probably needed to hear it from a woman.
Yeah,
And a woman that has no, I don't have a horse in this game, right? I'm not managing a female fighter. I'm also not a female fighter myself. So you can't de-rank me.
I tell you what,
So
Rachel, I actually did a show on transgender boxing and the whole thing.
did
And
you?
yes, I did. It didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, but honestly, I wasn't doing it for clicks or numbers. I actually want to have a serious discussion about it because I flat out don't believe that if you were born a man, you should be in there fighting a woman. I don't. I really have an issue with that, right? I don't. I don't know. But and also, we had a discussion about Shields, right? Because she's the only one that's been undisputed in three different weight classes. So why is she not considered the greatest fighter of this era? Not the greatest female fighter, but the greatest fighter of this era. What's the separation?
No, I agree. I think like I said, like it. I think this is a lot of folds. Like there's a lot of chapters to this and sub chapters to this conversation, um, because it's the fact that they're just already getting the flowers and accolades that they should be getting, as we're watching them hold main card events. That card in the UK, freaking amazing, right? The women on that card showed up, and when we talk about that, like I feel like what I wanted to say was like they were like, well, you guys should get paid what you're due from what they told me, and that they need to pay women's fighters more. I was like, listen, my argument, if I was freaking there, was yes, I hear you, but you know what they're doing? They're hiding behind you. They're hiding behind the sanctioning belt, saying that we're not going to sanction a 3-minute fight. So they're using you as a scapegoat to not have a 3-minute bout and pay these women more. But
Here's
if
the thing, though,
you,
right? Okay.
no, go ahead.
No, here's my belief, just to be all fair around the board. If you could put butts in seats, and if you could keep the attention of the fans and they show up for you, why aren't you paid equally? What's the deal? I mean, just why are you not paid equally? Because where I
I
am right
honestly
now.
I just think that I mean, these are the women like that were on the panel are fighters. They're the ones that are in there and they're afraid to speak. Most of the people that are talking for them are men. And some of them still believe that we should be, in the kitchen, right? So we're constantly fighting for like the footing all the time. And the thing is that I feel like with a woman fighter, you need a woman manager that's going to really fight for you and say like, listen, no, I want to see the Muhammad Ali act. How much did you guys really draw in for that UK fight? And I want that after that, I'm going to negotiate the next time that we sit at the damn table. I know how many views were on that TV. I know how many ticket sales you sold. I know how much merch you sold, because that was because of me. And now I know my worth, so I'm going to ask for it. But again, We're literally talking about men coming into women's sports and they're meek about speaking their opinion because of they're afraid of ruffling feathers. They're afraid
And
of the backlash.
that's the thing. That's the thing. You know, the women who have the voices and are bold enough to step up, they should step right up and step and tell those men to be silent. You know, this is not your arena. This is ours, and it's our time now to speak. You know, to speak for us. You know, you can't speak for us because you're not one of us. That's like a female coming over to the side of men and saying, well, you know, well, men shouldn't do this in boxing. Men, come on now, play fair.
No,
That's
I
just how
mean
I
that's
view
the
it.
same. It's literally, again, it's always still like step into a new arena. It's like, oh, women can't box, and then you see them box, and you're like, oh shit. Well, women can't do business. They don't know what they're talking about. And then well, I mean, there was different women pioneers before me, and I'm the one that's for the perfect timing in the universe is the mouthy one that doesn't give a shit and will say exactly like it is. And so I feel like it's because they play, like, for example, female boxer, male manager, she questions something, they'll be like, you don't know what you're talking about. Just stay in your lane. Just be a boxer. You don't know the business of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like they downplay or degrade the questions so they don't feel comfortable or confident even asking the next question.
I got a thought for you, but it's something I'm going to ask you off air because Major has your number, right? Major Key has your number, right?
No, we work on
He
No?
has my
social
Instagram.
Okay, here's your. Okay, good, good. Yeah. Because I got a thought for you because we've had female boxers on here that are legends. We've had female managers. We've had promoters, I believe, as well. And I just have a thought for you, but it's something I'd rather ask you off air because I don't want to put out in the universe and someone else says, okay, this is my idea. Yeah, because that's how
Yeah.
this business works, you know?
So what I told Major Key is like if I don't so try to pay me on Instagram. If I don't see it within 24 hours, then comment on one of my posts and then
Cool,
say, hey, I PM'd you because there's like weird filters, like different boxes and stuff. I have to find people sometimes.
cool,
Like
cool.
sometimes it'll go to spam. I'm like, what the hell? Like, why are you in
Right,
spam?
right. Because I've had panels on here with all males, like male. I've had male boxers, promoters, all on the same panel. I want to do something similar with the women and just have you speak your piece. You come right on Major Key and you do that.
Okay, that
that off
sounds
air, Troy.
great.
Yeah, we can talk about that over here, Troy. Any last questions for Rachel, Troy, before I shut it down?
No, I just want to say thank you, man. I mean, it was a great night, man. We had David on, who's a legend in the making, and I got to speak to your husband, who's a legend. And I got to speak to you, who's a legend also. So there you go. All I can do now is drink my water and go to bed. That's it. I'm cool. Thank you.
All right,
Well,
awesome.
I appreciate you, Major Key, for having me, and it was great meeting you guys and having this talk. But yeah, like I said, like let's schedule something where I'm not freaking stuck and stranded in Mexico City, and we can be on cam, and talk whatever you guys want to talk about, and yeah, go down that list. So again, I appreciate you guys. To those in the chats, please remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and the notification button for your boy here, Major Keys. So glad I met you.
All right, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Like I said, the pleasure is all ours, and I seriously mean that. I literally try to reach out to Donaire before the Ubali fight. I noticed he started doing more YouTube stuff after that. I was like, damn, I missed my shot. But I just happened to talk to him the other day, and I was happy that we were able to, at least come to an understanding and all that. But I would definitely reach out to you guys. You guys enjoy your night. I appreciate the time once again, and tell everybody where to find you guys, and so we can shut it down over here on this end.
Yeah, so for me, it's on Instagram, it's Rachel Donaire. On Twitter, it's knockout_queen. Facebook is Rachel Marcial Donaire. Nonito's Facebook got hacked. Nonito's Instagram is Nonito Donaire. Twitter is Filipino Flash. And YouTube, honestly, gentlemen, we will be coming back. We're going to do a recap of the WBC and our personal experience is Beyond the Ring with Nonito and Rachel. So I hope you guys come. I hope you guys visit. Like, we love connecting with everyone and getting to know everyone.
Yep. Everybody in the chat, make sure you subscribe. I'm already subscribed to them. I know I get notifications when they come live, so make sure you guys do the same thing. I appreciate you guys again. You guys can go ahead and enjoy the rest of your night. Troy, any final words?
Great show, man. Thank you. Just bless up yourself and stay positive and keep on doing what you're doing, man. You're definitely a power couple when it comes to boxing. So thank you.
Thank you so much. You guys be safe.
All right. Thank you so much. Good night. All right, Troy. Any final words?
No, I'm just gonna talk to you on the back end. I don't want to, because you know me. Once I don't want to put nothing in the universe because somebody else will take it from me. So no, I was talking about it on the back. I'll call you once we get off the air.
No doubt. Well, shout out to the chat, everybody that came through. Whether it was the true supporters from day one, new supporters, even the haters, man. It doesn't make a difference. You still give me your view time, so I appreciate that. You know what I mean? With that being said, another edition of Major Key. Y'all have a great evening. All right? Y'all know how we do. Peace.